5 cups of flour, 5 teaspoons of baking powder, about a quart of lard. I never measure, a little bit of salt, a little bit of sugar. I'm going to put about, I don't know what this is, I never measure, so it's hard, eh?
Hi, my name is Michaela, and I'm doing this video project on my Nana, Angie Crerar, about her life in the residential schools.
Hello, my name is Angie Crerar. I have a story to tell, a life that nobody should ever live in their childhood. I was born in Fort Resolution on the north shore of Great Slave Lake in 1936. We come from a small community, about 40 people, and we lived off the land. I was taught from childbirth to respect Mother Earth and to preserve it for the newer generation. I also learned at my mother's knee that praying together made the family stay together. I had a lot of love. I felt it, a lot of hugs, and before we went to bed, we always said our prayers. I had 4 brothers and 8 sisters. Mrs. McSwain and another RCMP came and brought my little sister, and they took us in this plane. It was on the 12th of January, 1947. I've never been on a plane in my life. I remember my sister just clinging to me, crying, and that other young girl too. And we landed. We traveled quite a long time, and we were scared to look down. Remember my sister screaming, so I had to hide her face. Then when we landed, there's another priest with a dog team that took us into town. And then we come to this long big building. Had a fence around it. And then all of a sudden a bell rang, and we were told to go in the other room. And we went there, and we were given numbers. I was number 6. My sister Doris is number 15. Rita was 15, and Doris is 23. And we found out while we were there that we were half-breeds. We were ridiculed, we were punished for things we didn't do. We were accused, and none themselves didn't believe or listen or hear a word that we said. We were called savage. I did not have a name, I had a number. My number was 6. In the evening, you could hear the children sobbing in their sleep, calling for their parents. Right till today, when I think back, I hurt too much. Thousands of children for over 100 years went through those doors. Many suffered. Many never made it. They were 2 days out of the convent when they committed suicide or turned to drugs or alcohol. Searching, always searching for love, for acceptance, and especially for their identities. My mother died 2 days after we got there, but we were not told for about a week. And Nun took 3 of us down in a parlor and said to us, your mother is dead. You are now orphans. My sisters clung to me, and it was no worse feeling in the world to know that 3 of us were alone and that we had nobody to console us, to comfort us, to love us. We didn't know what to expect in the years to come. All we knew was that we would be there like everyone else till we were 18 years old.
She would stand up for anyone. Didn't matter if they were the white kids in the school or the native kids in the school. She didn't want to see anybody getting hit, abused, or picked on by the nuns or anyone else that worked there. She has a huge heart. She wanted to make sure that nobody else had to go through anything or suffer, so she would bring pain upon herself so that others wouldn't have to be hurt.
And we all knelt down and prayed. And then we had to line up to go back downstairs into this building. We all sat down and had to eat, and it had a complete silence. We could not speak. And then we prayed again, and I couldn't understand the prayers. And then again comes the bell, and for the next 10 years I will have a bell and clapping hands. And like a herd of cattle, we had to all line up and follow each other. You had to go outside. And I remember trying to hold my little sister who was so afraid. And then that's the first time I got a strap, because I'm not supposed to do that. I'm supposed to stay in line. I remember that night, then we went back and prayed again, and all went to bed with big long nightgowns. I remember I couldn't sleep. I could hear my sisters, not only my sister, other children crying. It was about 8 o'clock at night. The nuns were still up. They had a cubbyhole on each side of the room. I couldn't sleep. I didn't know what was happening. I was scared. I didn't know what I did wrong. And then the nuns finally went to bed, and then they started snoring. And I see my little sister crying. So I went up. I got out of bed slowly and went up to her. And I brought her back to my bed, and I held her till she fell asleep. My mother used to tell us stories. And one story that she told me stuck with me for many years. It was about her own life, where she was raised in Fort Norman. She was raised by her grandparents. And when she was about 5 years old, my grandfather and 2 uncles had taken off hunting. In the meantime, a plane landed. And of course, as was in the old days, everybody went down to the lake to see who came in and what it was about. RCMP come out and grab 5 children. My mother was one of them. And she was taken to Fort Chipewyan Residential School. She was telling us how lost she was, and she didn't know the language. She spoke Slavey at that time. She barely remembers her life before, but her one wish was to see her brothers again. Unfortunately, as sometimes happens in her life, her wish did not come true. She never saw her family or her home or community again. My sisters and I made a pilgrimage and met my uncles. I'll never forget when I met him. He was 92 years old. And the first thing he said when he saw all of us 4 girls, he got tears in his eyes, and he grabbed us. And I was the first one he grabbed, and he said, "You look so much like your mother when she was young." And his dream was to find my mother, but he saw us, which was so important to him. He always said that when he saw us, he saw his sister again. And we've got that connection now with the other side of the family. And I hope Mother up there realizes that we did find her family, that they know who we are, and that she was happy.
She's won Governor General's awards for being a caring Canadian. Nana has countless awards for everything she's done. She's been doing volunteer work ever since I've known her, as far as I can remember. My Nana's my idol. She always has been, and she most likely always will be. She's someone I've looked up to ever since I started doing my own volunteer work. I love helping other people. I don't need a reason behind doing it. whenever I do it, I just think of my Nana and what she would do. She'd be out there full force helping whoever she can with whatever she can. She doesn't take a break.
My Métis heritage, which I almost lost, I've been working towards reclaiming my identity, my proud, unique. To be shunned is only if you allow it. I began to be a crusader for Métis when I was very young. Many times people laughed at me and said, yeah, there's no such thing. The feeling of pride and respect and honor that we have created a new nation here in Canada, a nation of many bloods. Our heritage is very, very important. We must not forget who we are and add to the sacrifice that Louis Riel made. Raise your voices. Do your share. Be proud of who you are. Everything that happens in our life is there for a reason. To learn, to grow. I have grown a lot. I'm no longer who I was as a child. I took my heritage from my young childhood and brought it back to focus. And that's what has made me a strong woman I am today. And with this, thank you so much. I love you all. Keep moving forward and always remember your unique and proud heritage and add a little bit to it, that someday we will get back everything that we lost. And we can do it if we work together.